Alright, now we come to the final phase of cracking Aria. In the first round, we had 3 battles. The first one being that the High Elves attacked a nearby moon to try to establish a base of operations. Unfortunately, the Robot Legions were there first, and they had to start a fight with the Robot Legions before they could get to the Dwarves. And in that battle, as we saw, the High Elves, they were only able to get a draw. They were moving in very well, and then the Robot Legions were able to make a brilliant maneuver with their tank right over here that was able to literally save the game. Right there is the move that he comes in and wipes out the jet bikes. Those were going to be the kicker, and once he got through to them and wiped them out, that was the end of the High Elves' hopes of taking this. But they were able to salvage a draw, and that means that this battle, it took them longer than they thought to get that base of operations and slow down the rest of their offensive. The next phase was to take a platform from the Dwarves to try to disrupt their communications, and the High Elves came in and did all they could, and ultimately it came down to the transport, the APC, the transport for the High Elves, as their jet bikes just weren't enough to take on the Dwarves, even though they threw their jet bikes all the way up the platform. Ultimately, it came down to that APC, and it just turned into a big pillow fight, and the High Elves were unable to reach their objective. Finally, another battle between the High Elf fleets directly against the Dwarves. They were trying to push through and just do some damage to the Dwarves to try to distract them. And distract them they did, even though the High Elves did come out not on top. They were able to do enough damage to distract the Dwarves and pull away vital reinforcements away from the main objective, which will be this week's objective. Now, we'll be running the final part of cracking Aria, and as usual, you can play your own scenario for the finale. Right now, the Dwarves will have the advantage. So what I did was I set up a scenario. This is how the final scenario will be, of course, if you want to play something else and add to it, as though it was a battle around this battle, maybe on the outskirts. But the ultimate thing is that the Dwarves are sensing that there is something going on here. Of course, the High Elves are coming in, and they know that their plans to create this super weapon are in danger. So what they're going to do is they're going to evacuate this planet and try to get the super weapon to a more secure location. What they're starting to realize is that all these actions that the High Elves have been doing are really a diversion to pull all their resources, their fighting resources, away from this location right here. And in that case, the Elves have been somewhat successful. And so what we're going to do is you're going to have 6 objectives. You're going to set up like this. The Zone A and Zone B will be all the deployment zones for the High Elves. And the white area is going to be the deployment zone for the Dwarves. The first step that you're going to do is take 6 objectives, and the High Elves are going to put the objectives somewhere in this area. Since they are at a disadvantage and they have not been as successful in the first round, they will have to destroy 5 of the 6 objectives. So they're going to place 6 objectives somewhere in here. They got to be 9 inches apart, or as much far apart as they can. The Dwarves will then take over at least half of their points and put it off to the side. They will not be in round 1. Take the other half, that is less than half their points, and deploy it anywhere in the white area. Then the High Elves can deploy their entire army in Zone A's and Zone B's. And on turn 2, the Dwarves can deploy their second force within 6 inches of any table edge if they roll a 1 to 5. If they roll a 6, if they roll a 1, if they roll a 2 to 6, they could deploy it anywhere within 6 inches of the table edge. They will roll for each unit, and as long as they get a 2 through 6, the dwarf will deploy it anywhere that they want, as long as it's wholly within 6 inches of the table edge. If they roll a 1, the High Elf player can deploy that unit anywhere within 6 inches of the table edge. The High Elves, when they take an objective, it is destroyed. So they can't be contested. So if they get onto an objective at the end of the round, that objective is destroyed. As long as 5 objectives are destroyed, the High Elf player has done enough damage to thwart the plans of the dwarves to save their super weapon. If they fail to do so at the end of 4 turns, then the dwarves are able to evacuate enough equipment and resources so that they can assemble their super weapon on a more safe location. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying what we've been doing. Feel free to join in and do your own scenario or use this scenario here, but this is what I'll be using for the final battle of cracking Aria. Thanks for watching and good luck.